Hey, welcome to another update on Archmage Rises. Thank you for being here. And with me as always, actually with me for the first time, is Claire. Claire, how old are you?
7.
Yes. And did you recently get out of the hospital?
Yes.
Well, a month ago.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. And how's your tummy? Are you okay?
Yes.
There you are. Okay. So you're okay now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's good. So why are you here?
Because I don't want to go to bed.
Yeah, so I was just about to shoot my video, and she said, "Can I stay with you?" And so I figured, sure, why not? Everybody's sick of just looking at me, so you can look at a pretty face and listen to me. Okay, so this week got a bunch of things to share with you, and I will get right into it. We just pushed out a new build 12.4. And we got a couple of things in it that I will show you right now. I'm going to show you basically one thing once you get into it. So while this is loading up, we fixed 3 major bugs. And the first is there was a problem coming back from combat to the dungeons. And we never really encountered it while we were working on it. But there are some very dedicated players who would encounter it like all the time. And that was frustrating for all of us to try and figure out how to do it. But through getting the log files, we managed to figure out what the problem was. There was something in combat that wasn't cleaning itself up properly. And we figured out what that was and we fixed it, and so now that error shouldn't exist anymore. We're pretty sure. We weren't really able to reproduce it ourselves. We were able to fake produce it and cause it to happen, and then when we put in our fix, the fake production no longer works anymore, so we think the real problem has gone away. But only time will tell. So very interested to see if people still have that problem. The next thing was in the town. It was having a problem where you were gifting to somebody, and that would, I think the menu would get screwed up, and then it just wouldn't work at all, and the whole game was crappy. So we're gonna grab a quest here. So we fixed that, and there was another thing. Oh, the save files getting corrupted. There was a problem with the save files getting corrupted. Oops. We really should be better at that, but anyways, that one snuck through, and we fixed that one as well. So those are 2 big ones that were affecting everybody, and they're fixed now. So the last thing is that what I really want to show you is we got to go up here on the map. This is Daddy's game. This is what I spend all my time doing.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
Good.
Okay. So we gotta explore in order to see where the dungeon is. We found the dungeon. Now we can go inside of it.
Ooh, spooky.
Is it scary?
Mm-hmm.
You can just talk normal. It's fine. Okay. What do you think of this dungeon? Does it look clean?
Yeah.
No, it's filthy.
Yeah, it's filthy.
Wrong answer. It's filthy. So this is the big thing. Is Daniel too? He has spent a lot of time working on this and getting all of the filthiness into the build. We had this working. I showed this quite a while ago. I think a month or so ago.
In the hospital?
I got. He was working on it then. And so now it's ready. It's production ready. So tell us what you think of going through the filthy, dirty dungeons. Everything's not so clean anymore. And we've added 3 new rooms to the dungeons, and they're rare, but they do happen. That is the tomb, the crypt, and the burial chamber. So those are 3 new rooms that you can experience. So as we've the majority of the team has moved forward on the combat stuff. Daniel too was assigned on continue working on dungeons and improving that. So and fixing the bugs that are now fixed. Although a couple of us jumped in on that one. But anyways, that was how things were going. So what do you think? Does this look like a fun game? I'll pay you later. Okay. So that's where it is. So you can download the build right now. It's been pushed up to Steam and published, and enjoy. And let us know if the problem is finally solved. Lord Blade, yay! Okay, now I have to talk some more. I have to talk about how we're going to finish this game. We are on build, we just put out build 12.4, and we're actively working on build 13. So build 13 is about combat, and then there's going to be build 14, and build 14 is going to be all about the world and why am I playing this thing, and the progression in the world, and how you can interact with the bigger parts of the world, like the mayors and the conclave, and what that all means and stuff. So then after those builds, kind of think that we're close to being done. Like, I'm not going to say build 14 is like the last build, because it for sure won't be. But I don't know, there might be a build 15, and then we're ready to do beta for everybody. And how long is it going to take for us to finish combat? I don't know. I'll show you combat in a little bit. We actually had a bit of a status meeting. I'm sorry that I'm boring you. I'm keeping you up. You could go to bed right now. You want to go to bed? Yeah, okay. So build 13, the combat, I talked with the team about, like, how far along do you think we are? And there's kind of three components to the combat build. The first is we have to get the infrastructure, the systems, all the code, like, working, the tech. We got to get the tech working. And we're probably 50% done with the tech. Then there's the content, which is creating the spells, creating the items, creating the creatures, the AI of the creatures, and how they interact and stuff. And we, have a bunch done already, but then we have more to do. And we haven't started on that, so that's still at 0. And then the final part is the special effects, the visual effects, what you see in the game. And Roger's already working on creating gargoyles. He sent some sketches by, but I don't think they're really ready to show. So we'll just leave it at that. But anyways, working on the new races and then animating them and getting them in. So there's a bunch of things that are still to be done with that. But anyways, we think we're about halfway through on the tech side of combat. So that brings up a bunch of questions about how am I financing this thing? Because I now have a team of 4 of us that are working on this, 3 of us full-time and 1 of us part-time. And it costs a lot of money in order to do that. And that's one of the reasons why I was working by myself for a long time, is because that's very affordable to work by myself. But once you start hiring people and you have to give them vacation, Michael's taking vacation next week, for instance, but I still got to pay him. So once all these things come up, then obviously the financial side becomes much more difficult. And I had said in a previous update that Michael had gone like 8 days or something without being paid, but I finally was able to pay him. As of right now, everybody is paid, so that's good. As of the 15th, everybody got their paychecks on time, so it was just a momentary thing. But there's a bigger question of how the heck am I going to afford finishing this game? And a long time ago, more than 4 years ago, 4 years ago, 4 years ago, I was having very serious discussions with a publisher. If I gave you the name of the publisher, you would all know it. And they're a very good publisher, and I think highly of them. I like all their games, and they were very interested in Archmage Rises. And the discussion became they wanted to basically buy Archmage Rises from me, and I would still work on it and finish it and everything, but they would own the IP, and that was a tough kind of decision to make about whether I even wanted to entertain that, but at the end of the day, I wanted to get my game made. I wanted to make it for you. I wanted to make it for me, and that seemed like a way to do it. In the end, they decided they didn't want to publish Archmage Rises, and I totally understand the reasons. The reasons were they just don't think it's going to be like a huge seller. Minecraft level sales. Nothing is Minecraft level sales, but anyway. For where they were as a company and the kind of other deals that were on the table, Archmage Rises was niche, smaller. They thought it was good. They liked it. I got all the way to the top, but didn't make it. Now, that meant 2 things. One is I get to keep Archmage Rises. And yeah, so yeah, yay. So we own an IP, Claire.
Yeah.
Not sure you know what that is, but we own it, and I can will it to you as part of your inheritance if you want. So anyway, it's a tougher road, self-financing and mortgaging the house and going into debt and all these things. But I get to keep the IP and it's mine, and I get to control the project. And while I think they're a very good publisher and they would provide very good notes and feedback and very good marketing and like there's lots of really good things about them, there may have been things that they're like, we don't want you to do that. We want you to do this other thing, and I would have to do that. Maybe I would have had to have finished sooner than this. But anyway, so that happened 4 years ago. So here I am 4 years later. I haven't had a paycheck in 4 years coming from Archmage. All the money that I make goes into it. So this is what I want to say. Everything that I do is for Archmage Rises. That's a very important statement. You either believe me or you don't. But everything that I do is for the game because I really want to get this game made. So when I took on teaching, it was because I needed to be able to pay for Michael. And at that time, Daniel was part-time. Now Daniel's full-time. I needed a way in order to help fund the game. And so I took on this teaching gig, and it's part-time. It's only 12 hours a week. So theoretically, that gives me another 28 hours a week that I can work. It's basically a day and a half. So it allows me to work for 3.5 days and Michael to work for 5 days. And Daniel at that time was doing like 10 hours a week or something. But anyway, it was hard to do the teaching, and there were a lot of challenges involved with that, but it was for the game. It was ultimately for the game. And so, some of you have given very positive feedback about these combat things I've been showing you, the work that we've been doing each week. And again, I'm going to show you some more in a second, but I wanted to address this finances side of things. And no, I'm not going to try and do multi-level marketing and get you to sell other people copies of Archmage. Although that does sound really good. Anyway, this is leading to something. So I did the teaching thing for Archmage. Even though it took me away from Archmage, it was so that Archmage could continue. And I was so happy in April when school ended and I was able to focus on Archmage. It's been really great through the summer, but now school's coming up again. And obviously I'm going to be teaching again. And for those that didn't know that I was a prof, yeah, I am. And I teach the kids how to design and make video games and how to take 7 years. Just take your time. It's fine. No one will care. So I teach kids. That's about to happen. Okay, no big whoop. Here's what's going on. So the combat build, outside of paying the guys that are already working on it for programming and everything, I got to hire Roger to do all this artwork. I got to hire the animator, that's Chris, in order to do all the animations. And maybe someone to help with visual effects, although maybe we can do it ourselves. I'm a little convinced now that we can do that. I was looking for somebody to do it before. Anyways, I think it's going to be $15,000, $20,000 in order to do the combat right. And that is outside of my time and all of the rest of the guys programming. That's additional costs that I need to come up with. Again, not paying myself. And then I got to come up with another $20,000. So it's like a big what am I going to do? Only animate half the guys? I mean, it's pretty easy to say, well, fine, don't put any new monsters in and just use the monsters that you have. And it's like, yeah, but I kind of want to make the game better. And I do want the variety of monsters. I think you want the variety of monsters. It's not... If I just stuck with the 30 monsters I have right now, the game sells for $30 US. If I add 20 more monsters to it, it still sells for $30 US. So you're on the really good end of this equation. Anyway, so here's what's happened. I have a friend that owns a studio in the US. And they have rights to an IP called Redwall. And Redwall has sold some 22 million books. There's 22 books. And they've sold over 20 million books. Maybe you've read Redwall. It's
a lot of books.
Very good. Yes, that's a lot of books, a lot of paper. So they have the IP to Redwall, and they have created a couple of games already with that, and they need help. They need help on finishing one of their games, and they got to get it done by the end of this year. And so they reached out to us and said, hey, you guys seem pretty smart. I mean, don't tell them other differently, but you guys seem pretty smart and like you know what you're doing. Could you come and help us finish one of these games by the end of the year? And I was like, well, in order for it to be worthwhile for me, I mean, I need X amount of dollars in order for that to work for me and everything that's going on. And they said yes. And so we're excited to say that we are going to be building a Redwall video game. And it's got to be done by the end of this year. And so we are going to be starting that September 1st and finishing the game.
4 days before my birthday.
That's right. Everybody can remember that we start working on the Redwall game 4 days before her birthday. Okay, that's how we mark the calendars. So why would we do this? So when the opportunity came up, I went to the team and I said, listen, I know that you're here and you're working with me and you're here to work on Archmage and such, like, and then there's this opportunity to work on this other thing, but we have to put Archmage down for a while, or at least most of us have to put it down for a while. Do you even want to do that? Like, are you here to work on Archmage? Are you here just to like work with me, to work on games? Like why are you here? And it didn't take them long to say, like, we want to help build this studio and like make this thing like really happen. So Daniel, and Michael are good guys and very dedicated, and I really appreciate them. And so they were like, yeah, you know what? This is actually a good opportunity for the studio. So we can get a financial grounding that we need. We can pay all the expenses we have with combat and have some money in the bank in order to see us through the new year and, you know, hopefully running to the finish line on this game. So this is really good, but it's good in another way. It's good in that I've been working on Archmage Rises for almost 7 years, and that's ridiculous. Basically, she was born and almost 1 or something when I started working on Archmage, and now she can read and do maths and all kinds of stuff. She's loading and unloading the dishwasher and doing laundry, and like, hey, you're really helpful now, which is great. And you weren't very helpful as a baby, but you're helpful now. Anyway, so my kid keeps getting bigger and reminding me how long I've been working on Archmage. Yeah, good job, Claire. And anyway, so it's taking like a crazy long time in order to make this thing. Anyways, I want to get it finished. And having the money in order to finish it is good. But what's better is for us as a team to like learn how to work quickly. I think everybody can agree that if Thomas, Daniel, and Michael can figure out how to work quickly and efficiently, that would only help the game. And so one of the things you can do as a game developer is go to game jams, and you have 24, 48, 72 hours in which to make a game. And they're not the most amazing games you've ever played. They are little incubator games that, you know, have a potential or something. But what's great about that game jam experience is you go through the whole cycle with a team from idea to basically release in this short period of time. And so we thought that it would be a good team building experience to basically do a game jam, 3 months game jam in order to do something from idea on September 1st to completion, delivered to the, in this case it's a mobile game, app stores, basically in December 1st or whatever. That would be a good experience for us. That would probably be a good experience for this guy who has so many ideas and wants to pack them into the game, to learn how to like say no and cut a certain feature in order to reach that ultimate deadline of like getting the game done and getting the game out. So it's both reasons. It's both for the finances, it solves a lot of problems that way. People won't have to wait 8 days to get a paycheck. But also I think it'll be a good experience for us. So what we're planning to do is to wrap up combat. We've got some good momentum on it. We've done a lot of great things. So we're trying to wrap up combat to be in like a good place to move the majority of the team, so the full-time guys, onto working on the Redwall game. And we will be doing that for 3 months. Daniel, too, who is part-time, he has a day job and then he works evenings and weekends. We'll continue working on the combat. So it's not a dead stop. It's a slowdown. and maybe that's hair splitting, but I thought it was important that the combat is still continuing to be worked on, and we're making progress, and I can still maybe give updates on the combat. Probably not every week on the combat, but definitely when there's milestones, we can do that. But the three of us will be focused on making this game, making it to the best of our abilities. And it's a big challenge. Can we make something fun that people enjoy in 3 months with this IP? And I think we can, but it's really kind of out there. It's a big challenge. So that means that we will be taking a step away from Archmage basically until January. Like I said, Daniel 2 will continue working on it during that time, but we're going to be focused on this other thing, and then we're going to come back. Now, I have taken a break from Archmage in the past 2 times. One when I lost sight in my left eye, and that was like 6 weeks or something. And then another time I was burnt out and I went away for 4 weeks, or maybe it was 5, something like that. Both times I came back. So like I said at the beginning, why would I do this? I'm doing it for Archmage. It's weird to have to step away from it for a couple months in order to see it through, but I actually think this is the way forward. The other way is to win the lottery, and I don't even buy tickets, so that's not a very good plan. So that's what I'm planning to doing. So I hope that makes sense. I hope you're okay with that. I don't want to disappoint anybody or tick you off. But anyways, I think this is the best path forward. So thank you for your interest in following this. I'm sorry that it's going to go a little slower before it goes faster, but we are working very hard right now for the next 10 days in order to get as much done on combat as we can. So let's look at the combat progress. What have we done in combat since last week? Well, the answer is the first thing is Daniel figured out how to get the outlining. So look at that; they don't grow anymore; they outline correctly. Well, the spiders don't. There's a problem there. But anyways, we got them outlining, and one reason for that is that we, because we're on the new version of Unity, we were able to upgrade spine, and so Daniel spent all day on Monday and a bunch of Tuesday updating the spine version that we use in order to get our animations into combat, and they gave us some new shaders and stuff, and we're able to do outlines. Hooray! It's amazing. So they look cool. They outline now. And then he's also spent the week just working on getting them to animate correctly, updating the animations, getting the abilities working, and he also added in ability cooldowns. So I'm going to hopefully show you some coolness in here. I don't think there's any sound effects. I'm not sure why the sound doesn't work in combat. But I'm going to pass my turn, and hopefully they don't kill me. Okay, so they're hacking away at me. So he just put a buff on everybody. That spellcaster at the back just put a buff on everybody. The Moon Howler is doing something. Okay, so now the Scavenger goes invisible. He hides. Oh, that was a leap. So the Ghost Creeper, the spider there, he didn't just move, he leaped. And so we now have the ability to play animations that are beyond just like in their separate square. Like he can leap up and jump anywhere on the screen. And so this is important for us to be able to do swoops of bats and other things, and just special powers to be able to just play an animation and not worry about where he is on the screen. It just looks cool, and then he goes back to being in a reasonable spot. So that is what we've done. Now these scavenger guys, they hide for 2 turns, and we put in cooldowns, and so it cools down, and then when the cooldown's over, then he comes back. So the ability to control the monster AI by having cooldowns so that they can't spam things. There, he just came back, and he's going to attack us with a whole bunch of throwing knives at us. Those 2 scavenger guys are chuck knives, I think. Is he? Everybody else is doing things. Okay, he's not chucking knives. Okay, well, we'll give it one more turn. We'll see if they chuck knives. Anyway, so when we make the monsters and the monster abilities, we don't want to give them powerful abilities, but we don't want them to happen every single turn because then they can't be that powerful. There we go. Now he's chucking knives. Chuck. So we have a lot more creatures to animate. These are only few of the creatures that are animated. Daniel's just busily working his way through all of the creatures that we already have animated. Then we're going to be adding in the new ones. Anyway, so the ability to have cooldowns lets us give them like really powerful things that they can do every 3 or 4 turns, and then they have regular kind of things they can do each turn, and that will create more variety in the combat. So that is the update on the game. We're going to do another update on the combat for you next week. I hope you enjoy the build, and thank you for watching Archmage Rises. And do you want to say goodbye?
Bye.
Bye.